guys, Work here, and welcome back to Work the Trigger. Today, we're going over 9 things that I wasted my money on, so you don't have to. Welcome back, guys. I'm glad you're here. So, through our gun owning experience, we all have our own pitfalls of things that we kind of fall into, gimmicks, hearsay, and things that we just waste our money on. Well, I am no exception. I have wasted plenty of money on this journey which I call gun ownership, and I would like to share some of those with you so you don't make the same mistakes. So this is going to vary a lot as far as concepts and accessories go, so stick with me here. These are in no particular order. This is just 9 things that I've wasted my money on. Now, oddly enough, a lot of the stuff in this list is not necessarily from tactical cheap shit. So stick with me. Let's hit up number 1. Now, the first thing on our list is one of those conceptual things that I was talking about a minute ago, and that is hyper ammunition. Now, in my particular case, we're talking about this. This is the Civil Defense round from Liberty Ammunition. It's a solid copper projectile weighing in at about 50 grains out of a 9mm gun, and this thing is rocking at around 2,000 feet per second. Now, although again, in my specific case, we're talking about this Liberty Ammunition, that doesn't mean that this is the only one. We're just talking this family of ammunition, the super lightweight per caliber, high velocity ammunition. Now, why, you might ask? Well, Paul Harrell's got a great video on this, but to summarize what he says, essentially, lack of stopping power, lack of penetration, and it's very difficult to train with the round. These rounds are going to hit in a completely different spot than full metal jackets do. Whereas with a lot of hollow points, your impacts are going to be very similar. Actually, my gold dots that I run impact within about half of an inch of the 115 grain ammo that I usually use to train with. These are a couple inches off, which is absolutely insane, but one of the many reasons why hyperfire ammunition not the best go-to. Not only that, but the recoil impulse of these is significantly different. So in order to train and be proficient with these, you have to train and be proficient with this. It's very difficult to bounce back and forth between a full metal jacket practice round and this hyper ammunition. So, number 1 thing to not waste your money on: hyper ammunition. Grab some standard hollow points, something from Federal, something from Spear. I even used to run the Winchester PDX-1s. I really like those rounds. Just get something that's tried and true rather than the new hotness. All right, the next thing that I have wasted money on, and I want to help you not waste money on, is holsters. I have wasted a lot of money on holsters. And when I say a lot of money on holsters, I mean guns worth on holsters. I could have had entire guns off of the holsters that I have wasted money on. From Kydex that's too thin and flimsy, no sweat guards, random crap, to Amazon specials that I have had to hacksaw and drill through in order to fix. Holsters are somewhere where you don't really want to go too budget. Now, I have had inside the waistband leather holsters, and although they're nice, I bought nice leather holsters, mind you. I'm not talking like the weird folded suede ones. No, these were actual real treated leather holsters with steel rims around the top, nice clips. But no, for inside the waistband, Kydex is the way to go. And if you're gonna go Kydex, go with an actual tried and true proven name brand. My particular name brand of choice is Harry's Holsters. You can catch a link in the description down below to his website, and you can use Work the Trigger for 10% off over there. Nowadays, if you're getting a holster, get a Discreet Carry Concepts clip. They are hands down the top choice for clips for firearm holsters. But essentially, don't go cheap holsters. Don't try to get a made-per-order holster at a gun store. Do your research, because it's really not that hard to get a subpar holster. So another thing that I wasted my money on, so you don't have to, is another round. This time, we're looking at the baby 10mm, the 40 caliber for carry. That's right, guys. I'm gonna toss 40 cal in there as something to help you not waste money on. Because although ballistically speaking, the 40 caliber, yes, is slightly superior to 9mm, effectively in use, it sucks. Especially if you are a new shooter. The recoil impulse is uncomfortable and heavy, it's difficult to get back on target, you can fit less rounds in the magazine, and it's more expensive, which is not going to encourage you to practice as much as you need to being a new shooter. Now, as time goes on and you shoot more and more, you'll probably see for yourself why you should stay away from 40 as a carry ammo option. But if you don't, here's a couple more examples. The firearms beat themselves to death. Probably a good 3/4 of the time, the firearms just aren't really set up right to be able to run 40, and they will beat themselves to death. They'll get frame cracks, they'll bust slide locks, and it's just not a great round if you're going to carry it or if you're looking at high round count guns. So that's why 40 caliber is landing on our list of 9 things that I wasted my money on, so you don't have to. All right, the next one that I've got, I don't have a physical example here in front of me because I got rid of them all. And that is non-mainstream pistol dots. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about Vortex, but Vortex is coming closer and closer to this category as far as don't waste your money on them. Specifically, I'm talking about the newer ones, or the gimmicky ones, that building screen version. The US Optic DRS and MCRS, the Swamp Fox Kingslayer, these are all examples of what I'm talking about, of subpar pistol dots. There's a reason that people get all of these specific optics from the likes of Trijicon, Holosun, SIG, Leupold, and even into the Burris stuff. It's because they work, they're proven, they know they work. You get these other options, and a lot of the times you're going to be let down, whether it's dot brightness, screen clarity, battery life, features that you don't want or can't turn off, such as auto dimming or an auto off. All of those second tier and kind of non-mainstream dots are stuck in that because that's where they belong. Look at Holosun, for example. It is a perfect example of a dot that started off as a non-mainstream dot, and because their product was good, because it was reliable, because it had features that people liked or could pick and choose, it's now one of the top dot options that you can actually buy. It's one of my 2 suggested dots for concealed carry, and there's a reason that that's a good one, and you should stay away from the others. Alright guys, so this next one, it's gonna take a confession. I was that guy. That's right, I was the guy with the Punisher skull rear plate. So there's a lot of controversy around modifying and changing up carry guns. But one thing, the one thing that pretty much everybody agrees on when it comes to modifying a carry gun, do's and don'ts, is don't do that. Don't put a Punisher skull on it, anywhere near it. You know what, for that matter, don't put them on your car, don't put them on your holsters, just don't have the Punisher skull. You know, a lot of the times people will say that it's because it might get you in trouble. I think it's just because you look like a douche. And take that as a serious thing, because I have one. It's not a good thing to do. It doesn't look good, it doesn't look cool, it just makes you look like a tool. Hey, that rhymed. And that's why it makes it into our list of 9 things that I wasted my money on, so you don't have to. Alright, so our next thing actually does come from our Tactical Cheap Shit catalog, and that is off-brand weapon lights. The 2 specifically that I've tried out on Tactical Cheap Shit are a Luxada that shook itself apart when I was firing it for the first time. Yeah, it had a toggle switch in the back, and the entire plate holding that entire assembly shook itself off within about 20 rounds. And then we've got this, is the Shamfire XC1. A Surefire XC1 clone that has maybe 1/3 the light output and all of the shitty controls of the original. That's right, they didn't fix anything. Now, despite this one having really terrible light output, even the ones that don't have terrible light output, I would generally stay away from. Why, you may ask? That's a good question, and I'm glad you asked. It's because they're crap. They are not made well at all. The controls are subpar, none of the screws are going to be Loctited. As I said, that Luxada, even though it put out a decent amount of light, it rattled itself apart within a couple magazines. And when you've got a weapons light, you can't really have that happen. It needs to be able to stay on. So guys, stick with the name brands. Surefire, Streamlight. I struggle to say Olight. I've had good luck with mine, but I've seen some that haven't. So, I mean, take Olight with a grain of salt. But if you go Surefire or Streamlight, you're not going to be upset, and it is going to be way better than an off-brand piece of shit. And that's why these make it onto our list. Alright, so next up, I'm talking to kind of the newer gun buyers. Even if you're not a newer gun buyer, like if you're not a proficient shooter, keep this in mind when you're looking for a carry gun. And that is tiny little itty-bitty guns for your first carry gun. That's right. These little pocket 380s may look super enticing as far as a first carry gun goes. They're small, easy to conceal, they carry minimum rounds, most of the time they've got safeties on them. Heck, this one even has a laser. That's a pain in the ass to turn off. But work, you say. Why might I not want those? Well, let me tell you something. These are a pain in the ass to shoot. I've shot a lot of guns, and I hate shooting these guns. The 380 round is an interesting beast. It's a light grain going pretty darn slow. The thing is, they pop like mad, especially when you toss them in a tiny little gun like a Ruger LCP or a Bodyguard 380. Pair that with a mediocre trigger and a small grip, and you've got yourself a handful. This goes doubly for those of you trying to find a firearm for your significant other. If you and your lady friend go out and she's looking for a gun and you say, well, here, try one of these, you should be slapped on the face. These things are an ever-loving pain in the ass for people with good grip strength and decent fundamentals to shoot, let alone somebody who doesn't shoot and has a weaker wrist. And I got a spoiler alert for you. If you do want a gun that can go anywhere, get the Ruger LCP in 22 anyway. It's just better. Alright, so next on our list is, it's something that I don't think it's going to be as much of a problem anymore, but it used to be. It used to be a really big problem, and I fell into it. I did it. I wish it didn't, because now I have this part that I can't for the love of me sell, and I don't want it, but I also can't throw it away, because who throws gun parts away? And that is Sporterized Mosin Nagants. So the Mosin Nagant is a mediocre World War II rifle, commonly viewed by the poors as the pinnacle of sniper riflery in World War II, when actually it was just that there was a massive amount out there, so of course people who had them are going to get kills. Anyway, the concept of Sporterizing is taking the old craptastic World War II furniture off and putting new craptastic modern-ish furniture back on. This here is a Monte Carlo stock that went on one of mine, but I can't sell this damn thing because nobody wants it, because apparently everybody's got better taste than I did. But that's not the point. The point is that even with this on there, the gun was mediocre accurate anyway. This didn't really add anything to it. It made it look a little bit better, but when you own a Mosin Nagant, who cares what it looks like? It doesn't do anything like increase your round count. There are stock systems that do that, but I wouldn't suggest going that way either. Not only that, but you lose all the resale value of your Mosin Nagant. So when you finally come to the conclusion that yes, this is a mediocre piece of junk, and you go to try to sell it, somebody's going to offer you half of what the gun is worth. So then you end up fixing it, putting the original furniture back on, getting everything looking right, selling it anyway, and then you're stuck with a plastic piece of junk that isn't going to fit a single other one of your guns and is just going to sit in the corner of your basement collecting dust and falling over on toes. I know from experience. It happened yesterday. And that's why Sporterizing Mosin Nagants falls on my list of 9 things that I wasted my money on, so you don't have to. Okay, and the last one is not a concept. It is not a caliber. It is not an accessory. It is this, the pinnacle of crappy 22 caliber rifles, the Remington 597. A 22 caliber semi-automatic piece of shit that can't run through one of its 30 round banana mags without a jam, that can't run through one of its 10 round magazines without a failure to fire on bulk ammo, and that is about as accurate as the Mosin Nagants that we were just talking about. This piece of junk is one of my most regretted firearm purchases, and it's not because it's the worst gun that I've had. No. I've had worse. Not much worse, but I've had worse. It's because I can't sell the damn thing. I can't give it away. I have tried giving it away. But yeah, the Remington 597, don't buy it. Just go get a 1022. You can't go wrong with the 1022. They just work. And that is it, guys. That is our 9 things that I wasted my money on, so you don't have to. But wait, there's more. I have one bonus item. That's right, a bonus thing that I wasted money on so you don't have to. And what is it? It's TFX Pros. So thanks for watching, guys. If you liked this video or found it useful, go ahead and like and subscribe down below. If you have some gun things that you wasted money on and you want to help other people not also waste the money on those, go ahead and write those down in the description. Share the wealth of the knowledge. Help other people not make your mistakes. If you like this format, go ahead and write that down in the description too, and maybe hit that notification bell down there, just so you know when our next stuff's coming out. We also have a B channel now, WorkTheTrigger Overtime. Over there we do live chats, installations, and all the general shenanigans that would get this one shut down. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, head over there and subscribe. You'll find a link down in the description below for that as well. Remember, guys, I appreciate every one of you, and until next time, do your research, get informed, and get to work.